the one that's asking all the questions. I feel kind of weird.
Don't feel weird at all. I'm glad you're asking. Okay, so let me see. Okay, I'm going to share a screen with you, and you tell me if this. Let's go. Where is it? Actually, you know what I want? I want this. Okay. All right. So can you see? Do you see where it says? I'm at the top. Transformations of graphs.
Yes.
Okay. So do you notice right here? Let's see. Look at the ones. The last two. Do you see how it says f of x minus c? If you notice, I'm actually going to the right, and if it's f of x plus c, to the left, right?
Right. So that's when we're quite doing the opposite. We would subtract.
Exactly.
And add.
Exactly. Okay. So the problem that you were working on, I'm guessing the one that you sent me today was from the homework from 2.7.
Yes.
Okay. One quick second. I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I'm going to pull up my homework. Let's see, assignments. Let me go to 2.7, and look. The one you were asking about was number 5.
So let me
check. I can see it on the. I can see it on the message that you sent me on Pronto. Okay, so let me see. Let me share the screen with you now. Chrome tab. This one here. And we were doing number 5. Let me make sure that you can see. Let's see. That's the one we stop sharing this part. Let me share the right one. Tab. There we go. Okay. So, all right. So now we can see this one, right? Okay. So I want you to think about. What it is I'm going to do here. I'm going to try one more thing here. Let me see. See if I can just move this over a little. There we go. And this, and this. Okay. And let me copy this. And I want to see if we can do that. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to try. Let me see. Let me stop sharing this part here. And I'm going to share one more thing with you. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Now we can see this.
Right.
Okay. So all I did is I just put it in OneNote because now I can write on my screen. Okay. So let's take a look. Here's my function f, right? And what I want to do is I'm going to come up with a table of values for the function g. So it tells me that g of x is equal to f of x plus 2 minus 3, right? So what I'm going to do here, my x values, this is going to affect my x values because it's on the inside, right? And because it's a plus 2, I'm actually moving them to what? To the left?
The left, which would be a negative.
That's right. Subtract 2, right? From each of those x values. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new thing here, a new chart. Okay, and I'm going to put g of x here. Okay, so I'm going to take each of these x values up here, and I'm going to subtract 2 from every one of them. So if I take 1 minus 2, that should be negative 1. 3 minus 2, that should be 1. 5 minus 2, that should be 3. 7 minus 2, that should be 5. 9 minus 2, that should be 7. 7 minus 2 should be 9, right?
Right.
So now what we're going to do is once we do that with the y values, because of this, I'm sorry, right here, this is going to change my y values. It's going to go down. So again, we're going to, right? Okay.
Now, I know, like the video that you showed earlier, or the one that you made in the class, you said we're going to be dropping down by that number, which would be 3. But
Oh,
you're
3.
saying,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, 3. I just
okay.
looked at the wrong number. My mistake.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. So I'm
We're
going to
going
take
down
each.
3 on those.
Yes. So I'm going to take each of these y values and I'm going to subtract what? 3 from them.
3 from each.
Okay. So 2 minus 3 is -1. 4 minus 3 is 1. 3 minus 3 is 0. 5 minus 2. 7 minus 3 is 4. And 8 minus 3 is 5.
5. Yeah.
Okay. So George, I just made my new chart, right?
Okay.
Okay, now I want you to notice what it's asking me to do. It's asking me, can I complete this table? So look, when x is, what's the value of g? It's 1, right? Is 3, what's the value of g? It's 0.
Oh.
When x is 5, what's the value of g? It's 2. 7, what's the value of g? It's 4. And when what's the value of g? It's 5.
Oh, I see.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
So notice the only,
It's asking you to do like 3 different.
Right. Exactly. So notice what we did. So I'm gonna kind of clean up this mess because I want to kind of go over it again and make sure that we understand. Oops, let me. Oh, come on, eraser, erase. All right, let's see. Here we go. 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 All right. Okay, so we're almost there. So again, since was equal to f of x plus 2 minus 3, right here, yeah, it changes the x values, right? Because it's on the inside, and it moves them to the left. Oops, the left. 2 spaces, which means we subtract 2, right?
Right.
And then this changes the y values, right? And we go down to, so again, we're going to subtract.
No, you need 3.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep doing that. Subtract, we're going to go down 3, so we're going to subtract 3. Okay. So then I'll say, well, look, let me make my new chart, right? G of x. So when I make my new chart, what are we going to do with the x values? We're going to subtract 2 from each of these x values here. So when I say 1, 2, that's -1. 3 minus 2 is 1. 5 minus 3. 7 minus 2 is 5. 9 minus 7. And 11 minus 2 is 9. And then we say, okay, well, what do we do with the y values? Well, we're going to subtract 3 from these y values here. So 2 minus 3 is -1. 4 minus 3 is 1. 3 minus 3 is 0. 5 minus 3 is 2. 7 is 4. And 8 minus 3 is 5. And then once table, the question is just asking me, can I fill this part of it out? So if you notice, this part of the table only includes that part right there, doesn't it?
Oh, okay.
You see what I mean? So look,
Yeah.
here's my 13579. Well, here's my 13579. And here's my 1045. So I put 1, 0, 2, 4, and 5.
Okay.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah. Because I was
Okay.
trying to the next one. That was like, okay, this is like really throwing me off. I don't know
Okay,
what it
so let's
charting
take a look at
graphs.
let's take a look at the next problem, and we'll see if we can do it the same way. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. So let me do this. Let me see. Where's my? Here we go. Okay. copy this. And let's see if I can paste it right here. Okay. And okay, so this is the next problem, right? This was the one that was this is like number 6 in that same homework set. Yeah. So let's take a look. It says two functions f and g are related by the given equation. Use a numerical representation of f to make a numerical representation of g. Okay, so we're going to do it the same way we did before. So the first thing, g of x is equal to f of x plus 2. Okay, so notice what we're going to do here. We're going to change the signs of the x values, okay? So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to make a new chart. I'm going to come back to these x values right here, and I'm going to change their signs. So when this one used to be a -2, +2. Okay, and again, why am I doing that? Because I have this negative in front of it. Does that make sense?
So anytime there's something in a parentheses, the sign's always going to change?
Well, anytime there's, but look what's in front of those. Look what's on the inside. It's a negative, isn't it?
Right.
And that's why my signs are going to change. Okay, because it's a negative, right? So before, when we had something like, I want to say it was something like this, like in the problem we did before, it was f of x plus 2. That's on the inside. That tells me that I change my x values. Okay, so when it's on the inside of these parentheses right here, that tells me I'm going to change my x values. When it's on the outside over here, or it's on the outside over here, then that tells me I'm changing my y value. Okay, so because I have a negative here, I'm just changing the signs of these x values. So this used to be a -2, now it's a +2. This used to be a -1, now it's a positive. This used to be 0, well, it's still 0. This used to be +1, -1. This used to be +2, and now it is a -2. Then, now the next part, what are we going to do with y values? With the y values,
add 2.
That's right. We're going to, okay. So I'm going to go to the values right here, and I'm going to add 2 to each of them. This one here should be what? 13?
And 6.
4, 6, 4, and +1?
1, yeah.
Okay. And so this is going to be my g of x, right? Okay. Now, I want you to notice something, though. Look at how how I wrote my sign. Look at how I wrote this table here, and look at how this table. You notice, look at how this table is written, right? So it's written slightly different. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this table right here to make it look a little bit more like this one. Okay? What I mean by that is, note the negatives come first and then the positives. So I'm just going to put -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. But if I'm switching the order here, then I need to switch the order here. So then here I'm going to put 1, 4, 6, 10, 15. And now, doesn't this piece here, that just go right there?
Okay.
Did I lose you there?
I lost right there.
Okay.
You went.
Okay.
You went forwards and then you went back. Oh, no, hold on.
Yeah. So look. So I want you to notice something. Look at these x values right here. Okay. They're written. This is a +2. This is a +1, 0, -1, and -2.
Right.
Okay. All I'm doing is write them in the opposite order. So I'm going to put the -2 coming first. That's right. And the -1, and then the 0, and the 1 and the 2. And the reason why I'm doing that is because that's how they're written right there. Does that make sense?
Okay, so if it started with regular positives enough, and of course if it was reversed.
That's right. So that's right. So if you notice right here, this was written with a -2, a -1, a 0, 1, and a 2. And so when I look at my table that we just made, I say, well, I want this table to look more like that one. So then let me go ahead and put these x values the way they're supposed to be, which is why I, let me see. All right. Which is why I put these numbers here, like the -2, the -1, the 0, 1, and the 2. And then I say, well, look, if I'm putting these in this order, when x is -2, the g value was 1. When x was the g value was 4, 6, 10, and 13, right? Okay. So now look what it's asking me to do. It's asking me when x is -2, what's the g value? Oh, that's going to be 1. And when x is -1, what's the g value? Oh, that's going to be 4. Yeah. And this one's going to be 6. And this one here is going to be 10. This one here will be
13.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it probably won't be until I get back into there and try to figure it out, or do it again, and go hands-on, and then try to do it.
So,
when I know when I took Math 100 with my math lab, it gave me a chance to go back in there and do a
like a similar question,
like similar questions and things like that, like to practice on our own on the side. I know this one doesn't have it. You know,
did they have similar question?
Yeah, well, it can ask. Well, that's a similar question on the assignment, but on the side, it used to have like a practice area where we can go and practice specific problems to get repetition out of it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so it does have that. It's going to be, let me see. I'm trying to see. What I want to do here is I want to see if I can regenerate the same problem. I'll tell you what. We already did it. Let's put the right answers in for the 1, 6, 10, and 13. Let me put the answers in 1, 4, 6, 10, and so the last one was 13. My answer. There we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to generate a new problem, and we're going to go. I want to make sure that the concept is making. So let me see. I entered in my answers right now, and it said, you know, hey, guess what? You did it right, which is obviously good, right? And you're here. It would be bad if it didn't say it was right. Oh, here we go. Okay, you can still see my screen, right?
Right.
Okay. I went to that same problem. I entered my answers in. Tell me I got it right, but I hit similar question anyway. Okay. So the reason why I'm doing that, I want to make sure that we're getting the idea. Okay. So when I look at my f of x, it's equal to f of -x plus 1, right? So again, notice what we're doing here. because this is on the inside of these parentheses, we're changing x values, right? We're just changing the sign.
1,
That's right.
2.
So remember, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take these signs here, and I'm going to change them, right? X. I'm going to make my chart for g of x in a minute.
3.
Okay. So we're going to, you agree we're going to put 2, 1, 0, 1, 2? I'm sorry, -1, -2?
Yeah, I got -1, -2, 1.
Yeah. Remember what we're doing. So we're taking these x values here, and we're just changing their signs, correct? Okay. So far, right? So remember, all I'm taking my x values and I'm changing the sign. So when this one here used to be a -2, now it's a, when that x value used to be a -1, now it's a
0.
+1. When this x value was 0, well, it stayed 0. Yeah, and then this one became -1, and this one became -2. Does that seem okay so far? Okay. All right. Then what are we going to do now? Because we have this +1, we're going to take each of these y values right here, and we're going to add 1 to them, right? So you agree this one's going to be 11?
11, 8, 6, 3, 0.
There you go. Perfect. Okay. The only thing I'm going to notice is when I look at my chart, the chart that they gave me, look at how the x values are written. The x values are written where the -1s come first, and then 0 and +1, +2. And I don't necessarily have that here. So I'm going to say, look, let me just make a new chart. Let me write it the way this one up here is written. So let's take x values here, and let's just rewrite them where 2 comes first, and then the -1, and then the 0, the 1, and the 2. And then if I'm rewriting going in this direction, then I need to write those in that same direction, right? So then wouldn't I have to 0, 3, 6, 8, and 11? Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing this part of the screen with you right now. And you remember the numbers we came up with? 0, 3, 6, 8, and 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, let me see. I'm going to share a different screen with you. Let's go to this one here. Okay, so this is that same problem. Remember what the numbers we came up with were?
For that one?
What do we just did right now? Wasn't it 0, 3, 6, 8, and 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
3,
6, 8, and
11.
11? We're going to go chickadee check, and boom.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, these problems, they take a little time to do, and there's no doubt they can be a little tricky. But what we're going through them, like they make a little bit more sense. Okay, so look, if this one here, right? So take a look at this one here. I'm going to try. I don't know if I can, when I make it bigger here, but it shows up bigger on your screen or not. Look what it says. The graph of y equals f of x is shown with dashed red lines. How would we equals f of x plus 4? So the original one is in the dashed red. Now we're going to, right? So this plus 4, since it's on the outside, does it change the x values or the y values? Do you remember?
Changing the y values has to go up.
Okay, it has to go up, right? Remember, the original one is the red. So the blue one is going to be, this will be the blue one here. So out of my choices A, B, C, and D, which one is going up? D. So we'll click D. We'll go chickadee check. We got it. Right. Okay, so look, I'm gonna copy this one so that I can do it where I can write on the screen, so that we can kind of get an idea here. Let's see. Here we go. copy this, copy, boom, come back over here, oops, and let's go a little paste this way, and okay, and then let me share the right screen with you. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. And let's see. Is it showing up or not really? It's not showing up yet. Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So check it out. It says the points. Sometimes. All right. So we have the point negative 10, 6, 0, 7, 9, negative 5, right? So this is all I'm going to do. Like this. So when x is negative 10, y is 6. When x is 0, when x is 9, y is negative 5, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how would I do this one. And it tells me that g of x is equal to f of x plus 3. So when I'm going to do my function for g of x, or make my table for g of x, notice I'm not changing the x values because nothing is on the inside where that f of x is. Nothing here has been changed. So those x values will stay the same. What's going to happen to my y values?
The ones that change.
Yeah, those are going to change. And up, we're going to add 3 to each of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. So this will be 9, this will be 10, and wouldn't that one there be negative? Okay, and then now all I'm going to do is just write them as points, right? Because it says type ordered pairs and put a comma. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. We'll say the first point is going to be negative 10, comma, 0, 10, oops, 10, what? 9 and negative 2. Yeah. What do you think? Do you feel a little bit better about any of these problems?
Yeah, I'm getting. It's just repetition, and it's kind of.
Yeah,
I like the online thing because it gives you a chance to mind and go over. But when you're stuck to ask a question, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. How do you feel like the videos are okay?
Yeah, the videos are good. They are. But it's
Okay,
like
when I'm doing the videos, I'm trying to like talk you all through the problems to try to make it seem as much as I could be there with you guys at the same time. You know what I mean?
yes.
So I had sent out that survey yesterday. I've gotten some responses already. Not everybody has yet responded. I'm going to send a reminder about it just to have more people, fill it out. But this is what I'm hoping that we can do on Monday night. This kind of a where I can answer these questions for you guys, and we can do more. One thing I'm going to remind everybody is come with questions, right? Don't say, sir, can you do number 1? And I do, sir, can you do number 2? I can't sit there and do all. I don't remember how many guys are on the review, but I can't sit there and do all of them. So I want you guys to come with questions like you've already tried and you got stuck on it, so that we can go ahead and try to figure those out. And what I'm hoping is that if we have this kind of an interaction, it'll make more sense for more folks. Right,
and that's what I'm trying to do. Since I got stuck here, I started doing the review. That way I can, as I'm going on notes,
definitely.
I'm getting stuck on this one, or I can't remember, and then I go like, oh, you know what, this is how it's done again.
Yeah.
But that I'm having problems with, I can go back and say, when hopefully if we had that study group, I can go like, you know what, this is the one to help with. It's kind of, right now, the one that I'm actually asking is my son. He's a sophomore in high school, and
okay,
and he knows about all this stuff, or he knows it, and he goes, oh, Dad, this is easy. It's like, well, show me how you're doing it. And I see how you're doing it. It's like, oh, that's right, that's how the professor said it. And this, I'm getting it. And I turn to him and I turn to you and I go back and forth on the videos. And I'm stamping everything as I'm writing my notes. Like, this, we're in this 2.7. It starts at this time. We're going
Right.
to the session. This is where it is. So I can just make a quick reference to it on the videos.
Sure. Let me ask you a question. George, you got any other questions you want to ask me about anything?
No,
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share this video with the class, and this way they can watch it. If they got questions, hopefully this makes sense. But I appreciate you letting me know, George. Guys, when you all have questions, I'm happy to sit down and do this kind of a session with you guys. So please, if you have another question, let me know. I'm happy to do this, okay?
Okay.
Okay, George, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, okay? If you got any other questions, let me know.
I sure will.
Okay, bye-bye.